Hello and welcome to a friendly dive into the journey of booting up Windows 11. Whether you're a tech enthusiast or just curious about what happens when you press that power button, let's take a professional yet approachable stroll through the process from the moment your computer springs to life to when Windows 11 is ready for you to use. It all begins when you hit the power button on your computer. That simple press sends a spark of electricity through the system, waking up the hardware. The first thing that kicks into gear is the BIOS, or UEFI, the firmware that lives on a chip on your motherboard. This is like the computer's morning coffee. It gets everything started. The BIOS, or UEFI, runs a quick check called the Power On Self-Test, or POST, to make sure all the essential hardware components like the CPU, RAM, and storage are present and functioning correctly. If something's wrong, you might hear a series of beeps or see an error message, but let's assume everything's good to go. Once the POST gives the green light, the firmware looks for the bootloader, a small piece of software that tells the computer where to find the operating system. In the case of Windows 11, this is usually the Windows Boot Manager. The bootloader is like a guide, pointing the system to the right place on your storage drive, whether it's an SSD for lightning-fast performance or a traditional HDD. If you've got multiple operating systems or recovery options, you might see a menu here that most of the time it seamlessly hands things over to Windows. Now, Windows 11 starts to take the stage. The bootloader loads the core components of the operating system into memory. You'll likely see the Windows logo appear on your screen, sometimes with a spinning circle of dots letting you know things are in motion. This is the kernel loading phase, where the heart of Windows 11, the kernel, gets loaded into RAM. The kernel is like the conductor of an orchestra, coordinating all the hardware and software to work together harmoniously. Next, Windows begins initializing essential drivers. These are the bits of software that let the operating system talk to your hardware, like your graphics card, keyboard, and storage. If you've ever noticed your screen flicker or change resolution during boot, that's the graphics driver kicking in, getting your display ready. This phase is critical because, without these drivers, Windows wouldn't know how to communicate with your computer's components. As the system progresses, Windows 11 starts loading system services. These are background processes that handle things like networking, audio, and security. You might not see them, but they're working hard to make sure everything runs smoothly. For example, the Windows Update service checks for any critical updates, while the network service starts preparing your Wi-Fi or Ethernet connection so you can jump online as soon as the desktop appears. Speaking of the desktop, we're almost there. After the core services are up, Windows loads the user interface, known as the shell. In Windows 11, this is the sleek, modern interface with its centered start menu, rounded corners, and vibrant animations. The system also loads your user profile, which includes your settings, desktop background, and pinned apps. If you've got a lot of files or customizations, this part might take a moment, but on a modern SSD, it's usually lightning fast. Now, you might notice some apps starting automatically, like your antivirus, cloud storage, or maybe a music player you set to launch at startup. These are controlled by the startup programs configured in Windows. If your computer feels a bit sluggish right after booting, it could be because too many apps are trying to launch at once. Pro tip, you can manage these in the Task Manager to speed things up. So what makes this process so smooth in Windows 11? A lot of it comes down to optimizations like Fast Startup, which saves part of the system state to make booting faster, and efficient use of modern hardware like NVMe SSDs. It's a carefully choreographed dance of hardware and software, all designed to get you to your desktop with minimal wait time.
And there you have it, a friendly yet professional look at how Windows 11 boots up from the first spark of power to the moment you're ready to work, play, or create. Next time you start your computer, you'll know exactly what's happening behind that Windows logo. Thanks for joining me on this tech journey, and happy computing.